All right. We are back in the studio. We're talking about church hurt. I am your host, Pastor Christina Seastrunk. We're here live in North Las Vegas at the filling station. And let's say it again. We're here live at the filling station in North Las Vegas, Nevada. Come on, NTG. So, NTCs, Northtown Christians. Come on, y'all. They're not ready. You're not ready. You're going to claim the set. Claim it.
Right.
So we're talking about I don't know. I don't know the signs. Yeah, come on.
Listen, no. Red Letter Squad. They don't know. We got all of them. Come on.
Okay. So I'm a blood, real talk. So I mean, I'm bloodstained, and man, Jesus' blood.
Right. Come on.
So we're talking about church hurt tonight, and we were talking before to the evangelist, and we were talking to her about, you know, how she was angry and about she was angry with herself. That she was angry with her parents. Mm-hmm. But I want to talk to her how God, she said, and I want to bring you back to what she said. She said that she was in her closet crying and she had given it to Jesus. Yeah. And so after you gave it to Jesus, how did you get to the station? Because I always want to know that about people. I want to know how they got to from where they were and to where you are now. Talk to us about that. Talk to us. Because I can tell you about what I observed when you came to the station, but I'm leaving it up.
How I got to the station, I didn't go to church for like a year and 2 years, let's say.
Yeah. We would see you pop up at different revivals and stuff like that, yeah.
Just because of loyalty, family members, stuff like that.
Right.
Let me stop somewhere. And Shemaya was like, oh, well, Pastor doing this. Oh, she was talking about your training that you had. Boot camp. And I was like, that's class. That's first class. She was like, I need to hurry up. I'm going to be late to boot camp. I was like, glory to God. Awesome. Don't invite me.
Right. Well, you weren't invited anyway. You weren't invited. Right.
And then, we were living together, I think. And she was all like, oh, I'm going to church. I'll watch the baby.
Right.
And she was like, no, we all go. And I was like, okay. Corey, because now you're acting like mama.
Right.
I'm not a kid.
Right.
You don't be mama in me.
Right. Yeah. Get your daughter dressed.
Right.
Yeah.
So I went, and I was like, oh, this is different. It doesn't sound like the old, because honestly.
Yeah.
I forgot who you She was like, Christina. I was like, who? Christina Trisha. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Because I didn't pay no attention.
Tina. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I ain't paying no attention to nobody.
Right.
At the previous church.
Right.
Glory to God. And so she was like, yeah. I was like, although the singer on the praise and worship. She was like, yes, I was like that lady. And then, I was like, okay, let's go. I went. It was different, but I was still carrying on something.
Yeah.
I didn't feel worthy. Like, okay, God, I was mad for so long, and now here I am, where a church actually is listening, has an ear and a sound out for you, and I'm here. I'm not supposed to be in this place. And that's when Brian came up and gave me a hug and was like, "You're okay. He still said he loves you and all that extra stuff," and it broke me down. He does that, and I was like, okay. And then from there, I was like, but during that 2 years, he really showed me you can't do anything. Mm-hmm. And it took me real down, because in my household growing up, nothing is done if Olivia doesn't do it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Everything is in.
Speak the truth and shame all the devils.
All of them. Nothing got done if I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So I come home, Olivia. I was like, okay, all right. And so I got used to being in control.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Leading my family, leading my siblings, and then it was like God said, you are no one.
Yeah.
And then it brought me, and then going to the church, it was like, okay, got it.
Okay.
And that's how I moved into the healing, got to the station.
Okay, how long have you been at the station?
How long have I been at the station? I don't count years.
About a year or two?
A year or two, yeah.
Amen. Praise God. Praise God, because I was going to hear this story, because I know for me, I was talking to somebody about healing earlier this week, and I don't care what the healing is from, healing your body, emotional healing. Worship heals everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Worship heals everything, and worship is what healed it for me. I'll never forget, I was working at the Nellis Welfare Office, and I was so hurt by the church that, we're talking about. Mm-hmm. I was just down. My heart physically ached because I loved my church. I loved the people that were there. I loved it. It was a part of my life. And then when that whole downfall happened, I was just a hot, steaming wreck.
Yeah.
It would just, oh my God. So someone brought me, shout out to Deanna, because she brought me Kurt Franklin's Hello Fear CD. And there's a song on there called Everyone Hurts. And oh my God. And it talked about, he said, I know he'll heal the hurt. Shout out to you, Kurt, because you did that. Come on. So he that song healed me. That whole, because it said everyone hurts. Everyone goes through something. Everyone cries. You know, life never tells us the winds are wide, you know. And it's almost like when he's come on, shoot, but come on. But it healed me. That come on, right. That whole CD healed me, and then that song followed up with "I Am," and then you drop your tears, and you're like, "I am so far from perfect." You begin to worship. Then he talks about the blood and takes you into "Born Alone but Left to Die." Come on, have y'all heard that CD? Come on, that thing transformed my life because it healed me. It really did heal me. So I didn't have to. And then we went to the other church. That whole worship scene that really helped to heal me and bring me out. And then we went into another issue there, but I knew how to get healed now. So I knew how to go home and get into the presence of the Lord. Come on. And I got healed, and then here we are here. So, I thank God for that. So does anybody else have a story of how they have, pretty much, because you have to initiate your own healing.
Yeah, you do.
You have to step into a place where you say, okay, just like you step into the shower and you turn it on, you have to step in. Come on, come on, I see it in you. You have to step into it and turn it on.
Yeah.
So what did you do? We'll get to you, because I know you have a lot to say.
When God told me to leave, that's when I started to exhale, because what happened was that
just like the Shoop song say,
because I got out, right? Because I got out, I had to leave the land. It was like I changed countries. It was like I changed countries. Okay. First, I was at home. Okay. I'm not going to church. Don't care. Yeah. Don't want to see nobody.
Weren't really saved.
Weren't really saved.
This is after you were at that church.
Just after I was at the church.
Gotcha.
After I was at the church.
So you were saved.
Start smoking cigarettes, drinking again, all that other stuff. Sitting here churning like, you know what? I done went to church this long, and I'm not making the money I want to, and I can just go buy a pack. Yeah. Just warring. Right. And then didn't go to church for a long time, and the Lord was still talking, just whispering, saying little subtle things. Yeah. And I would be like, I don't want to hear that. Because you get angry, and it's like, you turned your back on me, so I'm turning my back on you. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. Don't send the angels. Don't none of that. I'm cool. Wow. I'm just going to go to hell. I'm done. And then over time, then you start sending me.
Really, your thought process.
This is my thought process. Okay. I'm done with you, God. I'm going to hell. I'm gonna live it up. I'm done. Yeah. I'm about to just go back to my old whole everything. Then you start sending me the Bishop Jake videos, and then I became an online member of Bishop Jake's church. Come on, I was listening to all of the sermon, and they started to break me down, because then it was the stuff that I needed to hear. Yeah. Then we moved on to the other land. Yeah. And just being in the scene being in the presence of the Lord was just washing and washing. It was taking off layers and more layers and more layers. So when the fallout did happen, like you said, I was ready and prepared to move, because now I'm leaning on the Lord. Before I was leaning on man, but now I'm out here and just by myself. Yeah. And I don't have anything else but you, so I have to hold your hand. I have to move forward. And it washed away all of the hurt. It washed away all of the pain, and all the rest of that stuff didn't even mean anything anymore. And then he got to teaching, saying it wasn't me. It was the ignorance. It had nothing to do with me. Yeah. I'm trying to change them just like I'm trying to change you, but you get it. Yeah. They don't. Come on. Yeah. You get it. Right. So now I can do this with you because you get it, and they don't. Mm-hmm.
So what has, and I'm getting somewhere with this question. I'm not just saying it because it's my church and our church. But what have you learned about the Lord, about church, about all of that from your church? What has your church done for you? Let me just put it that way.
Taught me how to be a servant. Taught me how to really, really, really talk to God. Because before it was just like you got taught the customs. Yeah. and the form and the fashion. So you were going through the traditional portion of it, but never really going in.
And you were still in a church.
Still in a church. Just going through the customs. You got to preach, okay, I'm going to study tomorrow and get it done. Versus studying all week or just listening to the word and letting it really just pluck you from society. You know, and just really, so it taught me how to really seek God. It taught me how to be a servant, because I wasn't serving. I was like, I'm LOS for you. You know, I had that mentality. And when God told me to shut my studio down, I was like, what? You know, because I got to go and do this tour real quick, you know, and all of these different things, all the X radio, all that stuff was just coming out of the work, just worse. And then he was just like, I'm not talking to you about that right now. Close it. I had to shut it down. And everybody's like, what happened to him? And this and that. So it taught me how to listen. It taught me how to wait for what the Lord is saying. Because I was just making music, just writing stuff. And he was like, I didn't call you just to write stuff like that. I called you to write what I tell you to write. You got to wait on me to say what I'm going to say. You got to wait. And then that's when my studying started to change, because then he started to lead me to what he wanted me to know.
And so how do you feel? I'm going to some of these questions because I'm going to ask you all this. How do you feel about honoring the men and women of God?
It's what you talking about? Just pastors and leaders and stuff, or just people
You're
in
men
general?
And women of God. Men and women of God. People that you can't honor everybody.
Right.
How do you feel about honoring men and women of God now?
It's the focus of my mind to make sure, because I don't want to let you down, because I know that you're following God. So you're going to lead us the exact way that we need to be. So to see that, on your face is like, oh, you know how when you disappoint mommy or you disappoint daddy, you just like, oh no, and then you want to hide. So you
want to hide or fix it.
You want to fix it, but at first when you're immature, you want to hide because it's like, I don't want him with me. Right. But then after a while, you want to. Well, I don't want him to see me right now, but I do want to fix it. Right. You know, right. So
I don't want them to see me fix it, so I'm just going to fix it.
Right, I'm just fix it. Right. Yeah, and then you start to learn the things that they don't like, and you fix it before they even see it. Come on, they don't know. Come on. So,
but what I'm getting to something when I say that, sir. No, let's go to you, ma'am, because you've been quiet as well, and I know that I don't know if you've experienced a hurt because you were so young. Is yes or no for you? No. Okay. So I'm just going to go right into it. What have you learned from your church? What has your church done for you?
Give me chances, is what I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. So, they're stepping stones. Mm-hmm. And when Uncle says, you're going to be a preacher, you're going to start preaching, that's a stepping stone. Because right now, I'm in this point where you say deaconess. So, this is my stepping stone.
Yes, sir! Deaconess / Sunday school teacher.
Pretty much.
Come on.
Right.
This is my stepping stone.
But can we say that people don't respect those titles as well as they do preacher?
No, they don't.
Pastor.
They don't.
This is my stepping stone right now. Mm-hmm. So as soon as I can mature and grow in what I'm doing now, I can go higher. And go higher. So that's what I mean by chances.
Okay. Meanwhile, you have a really good word. Really good teacher. I really enjoyed it. Sir, what? Because she's articulate and everything like that. But I feel like you have to watch the hand of the enemy because he'll have you believing a lie and you're not living the truth. So watch the hand of the enemy because when you're reading the word, he'll have you glorifying that and then you're living a sack of lies. And that is what we see in a lot of 4 buildings. People giving us all the hype and they're living the lie. Right. So don't give me the hype. I can go read the hype for myself. I can go get hyped up by my own self. I can be my own hype man. But I need for you to do, if I'm telling you, like when we said Sunday, I don't have time for you because I'm filled with purpose. Right. I got stuff to do. I got places to go. But you see me really on the move. I'm telling you, oh my God, Bishop, happened, happened. So for me, and when I hear Apostle talking like that, I get encouraged. I'm like, dang, okay, what we do? So that it should be a domino effect, a firefighting effect, you know? And that's what it should be. It shouldn't be, well, we'll go for it. It's all right, darling. It's good. No, No, I mean, what are you doing, Pastor? What are you doing with yourself? Are you just waiting on us to bless you? Come on, or are you allowing the floodgates open in your life so it can be a triple down effect?
Right.
When Moses put the staff in the ground, he didn't just put it in there for himself; he put it in there for everybody else. But the Lord said, "Use what you have in your hand. Bloop, open it up.
Mm-hmm.
Bloop, open it up." Somebody jumped into the Red Sea.
Right.
Like just like they jumped out of the Twin Towers, they jumped in. We don't have a chance.
Right,
Bloop.
boom, jumped in. Dead.
Lose what you have in your hand, and I'm gonna open it up.
Right.
But I'm not just gonna do it for you. I'm gonna do it for the people behind you.
Yeah.
Come on, it was a mess. It was in the Hebrew Bible. I want to know what healed you from that church hurt or that horrid experience, and what brought you to the station, and what has your church done for you? And then I have another question after that, but I didn't want to overload him.
Okay. Okay, so
How'd you get healed?
How did I get healed?
He got off.
Yeah.
I got healed. I knew I was actually healing and being healed when I wanted to pray for them.
There you go.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
That is a sign of growth and forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Because
yes.
Come on.
Because we had we had this prayer. We had the prayer line, and my pastor was like, you need to be praying, and I'm like, no. But I really understood, and I realized what it was supposed to do, and they were on my heart, and I was like, oh, no, I'm good. Nah. But every time I started praying,
it's because of anger that you didn't want to say anything, or like, you know what, whatever, they stay over there, I'll stay over here.
Like I'm in my own little corner, they can be in their own little corner. But then it was like every time I opened my mouth, all I could do was pray for them. All I could do was want them to be better. All I could do is like want them to grow from what they did to us, and realize that the ministry that you have could be so much more better than what you're doing now. And I wanted, honestly, them to be better. And not just on the natural aspect, but spiritually, I wanted them to be better, because there is no way, I've said it before, that the first lady of that church should not be bigger and way further along than where she is. She should have a Shade Tree ministry. She does have a Shade Tree ministry
in her heart, though.
Yeah, in her heart.
An idea in your head is as good as dead.
Yeah, she has in her. But see, because her deeds, because of her feet not moving and putting one foot in front of the other and actually stepping out on fear. Because I remember it was back in one of the mentorships. Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Come on.
And
that's Jace. Bishop.
Well, I heard it from my pastor. So,
right.
Stop. So just leave it.
So, in the process of that, but in the process of that, it was really, that's when I knew, I was like, oh my God, I really want them the best for them. I'm really like at a place where it's like, I really can say that I was like, oh my God, I'm praying for them, Jesus, and I want the best for them, and I really want them to be better and stuff like that. So when I was able to pray for them is when I knew that a healing took place for me. But it took a little minute. It took a little minute. It took a hot minute, because the stuff that they did was like
detrimental.
Honestly, if I didn't have certain people around me, it could have. The stuff that they did during the time that they did it and leading up to it, I really could have killed myself.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
See, this is what I'm saying about church hurt, and how many people have done that and did not have a circle that go unnamed because we don't know them in their small town or in their big town, and they're a small person in their big town. We don't know, you know, or their names are not Kate Spade or or the other guy who killed himself after that, Andrew somebody. So we don't know them. You know what I'm saying? So what did your church do for you? Because we heard a lot about what it's done already for you, and that is lead you to forgiveness. That is absolutely amazing, because so many people, that's why people are stuck, because they don't forgive.
Right.
Yeah, and that is something that my church has led me to the cross.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Every time I actually, because growing up, I used to be scared of the cross.
They made us scared.
It was really like fearful, like, oh my God, this is so horrible. Like, oh my God, why would you say this? And then when the moments in life happened to me, when my mom passed, when moments happened to where it was like, I'm raising this little person and she's looking at me like, do you need to do something? And I don't know what to do. Like, my church led me to the cross, and it was to the point where it was like, you have to go to we can take you to the cross, but we can't provide we can't heal this for you. Yeah. The parts in your heart that we see that are hurt, and we know that are hurt, and even the parts that we don't see and we don't know, we can't heal. Mm-hmm. So the only thing we can actually do for you is just take you to the cross. Yeah. And so for me, the two things that I love the most when it comes to my church and when it comes to Jesus is the cross and his blood. Mm-hmm. Because his blood, the cross is what did it, but his blood is what continues to do it.
Come on.
Did he just say something? Say that again. His cross is what did. Oh, God. Woo! Took something to happen on the inside.
But his blood is...
Oh, God. His cross is what did it, but his blood is what continued. Come on, real talk. Because we back our own stuff.
And,
right, I'm finna write.
Come on, she's gonna say it a couple more times. Get taken down at the house.
Come on.
Go ahead.
But
thank you for your blood.
But I know that those are the things that for me was able to keep me.
Come on.
Those were the things that was able to. I knew that I was able to.
Bless me.
When he was being to recognition for me, and then he allows me to be able to stand on his blood.
Okay, now you're preaching. So what is your take on honoring the men and women of God?
Come on.
True men and women of God, I love it. I actually, being an armor bearer, I find joy in serving. I find a joy in being an armor bearer. Even with immediate rebuke.
Come on.
Mm-hmm. And it's been many times where it's been immediate.
I meant to ask you that. We'll get back to you about the rebuking part.
It's been many times where I've been immediately rebuked. Growing up,
openly rebuked.
Oh, it was open. It was a go ahead and stand right there. Go ahead and keep playing because he's going to need this song to continue to get him. And you get there. It was. It's been many a time.
That wasn't a rebuke. Mm-hmm.
It's been many of open rebukes where I've gotten it. Then it's been a lot of private ones. So, so
multiple.
And then it's been so. But honestly, being and still trying to fight it, but learning that I'm gonna have to give in to being a praise and worship leader.
You want to do it anymore?
I don't understand.
I don't understand. Struggle.
Bishop doesn't struggle. Bishop just gets swept away. Bishop gets. You know what? This gets in an immediate current. There's no. The tides just come up. Exactly.
I got to get there.
No, sir. You're already there.
Yeah.
And you're trying to go somewhere else, and we like, wait a minute.
I'm not playing no games. I'm in
Joy.
No,
happy.
No, it's like he already behind him. It's like, sir.
I listen to that all the time.
Just like, come on.
No, but anyway, it
live
really
there, hey,
does.
that's natural.
So honoring the men and women of God.
Honoring, being able to honor true men and women of God. It does bring me it brings me joy.
Yeah.
Because, like Shemai said earlier, it is being able to be called and chosen to actually be considered an armor bearer is truly should be a delight, because you actually get to serve and be right next to that.
But you have to be a servant, like you said.
Oh yeah, before you can.
That is the number one criteria.
Before anything, before in the Bible, becoming a Christian, servants is always it.
He talked about
So you need to be like when you're being a believer,
That's all it is.
reflection. So being believer, servant is right next to it.
So what you're saying, and I like what because you say this a lot, and when you said jokingly, but I know that you really mean it, it's a reflection of leadership.
Yeah.
So you should be a reflection of your leader.
Yeah.
So if your leader's not lazy, you shouldn't be lazy.
Yeah.
If your leader is not walking in a certain way, and I'm saying this for a reason, I'm not saying it's just because it's us. If your leader's not walking in this, you shouldn't be walking in this.
Correct.
So you should, as a servant and as being in a real household of faith, you should be a total reflection of what's going on in that house.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you honor that. That's an honor for you.
I find it joy being.
Ma'am, have you been rebuked by your pastor before?
No. Really?
Yeah. So talk to me about what.
Him to be rebuked.
No, your pastor now. Have you been rebuked by your pastor now?
No.
Not your time yet.
Well, maybe you don't consider it a rebuke.
Yeah, she don't. When we get open rebuke, she don't.
You probably don't
get
consider
open rebuke. Olivia.
So,
well, count your blessings.
What did you say, Olivia?
I'm obedient.
Does your pastor care that you're obedient to rebuke you?
Yes.
Is that the only reason why you would get rebuked if you weren't obedient?
No.
So it's not your time yet, like you said.
Yeah.
So talk to me about. And I'm saying this for a reason. I'm so mad, Olivia. Don't believe what you hear. Don't believe what you hear.
It's the honeymoon phase. Just enjoy it. About a good 2 minutes.
So talk to me about.
Okay.
On that corner.
Wait, have you been rebuked by your pastor?
Yes.
Well, how did it make you feel? What talk to me about that word rebuke? Because I really want to get this. I want to get this on the air, because I think we get it so misconstrued. And you talked about before the whole mindset where I put my pen. I'm a woman, I'm a man. Mm-hmm. So how what did that do to you when you got rebuked by your pastor? What happened to you?
Well, sometimes it'll make you angry, but
she doesn't care.
But the thing about it is, though, is that you still have to understand that you still need to move, and that it's out of love.
Yeah.
So and I always go back to the parent situation. It's like when your mama pop you in the face because she told you shut up, and then she gonna say, "Bring me some water." Well, you're not gonna go spit in the water. You're gonna go get the water. You're gonna be mad, but you're gonna go get the water. You know what I'm saying? Because then she gonna pop you again if you spit in the water. So you gonna do what you. So you know it's helping you. It's helping you grow. And as you get older, you'll look back at the rebuke or the chastisement and say, that really helped me out.
Wait a minute. You said it's helping you
grow. It's helping you grow.
So the rebuke helps you grow.
It helps you
grow.
But
when you first hear it, you're like, look.
Yeah, when you first hear it, you like, what?
Now, have you ever been sad about the rebuke? Like, dang, I should have.
Yes.
Or I just, ooh.
Yes.
So it could be guilt, anger.
It's guilt. So once you start to grow and understand that rebuke is going to come, period. You're not going to always be perfect. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Then you receive the rebuke differently, because then you say, well, you know what? Okay, I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Let me go back and fix that. Mm-hmm. And then next time you won't see it, I guarantee you.
Does it bring about obedience in you?
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. It brings about a movement. Like you said, a movement just in case you wanted to do so-and-so. I got so-and-so set up. Because I was so proud when he says that. When he says that, we got to set up just in case you want to. Or we got this just in case you want to. And I just feel like, You know, so it makes me proud,
right.
because it makes me proud in the fact that I can trust you.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna, and I feel the Holy Ghost saying it, if I'm gonna do it in excellence, and I know you're gonna do it in excellence, then I'm okay to let it go, because I know it's gonna be done in excellence.
Right.
But I can't let it go if you're gonna do it stupidly,
Right.
because we're gonna have a problem, and that's when I'm gonna get upset. Now we come to you, ma'am. How has your journey of healing been? What happened for you on your journey of healing? And then tell us after that what led you to the station. What I want to know is what from your previous church and the hurt that the people caused you and the pain and the disparagement, how did you come from that to a place of healing?
Me personally, God deals with me in my dreams. So it was, I want to say it was like 16, 17, and that's when it got real thick for me at the old location. And I said, God, you got to send me somebody, so I'm going to snap. I'm going to go straight Northtown baby up in here, for sure.
NTG?
And for real. And, and real talk.
Civics in Cheyenne.
So, I remember having a dream, and I saw you in my dream.
Me?
Never met you a day in my life.
Me?
And yeah, never. This is before you came to Greater Life. I want to say maybe like a year before. And I was sitting there trying to describe my dream to my mom. Mom was like, "Well, maybe it's just
I've never heard the story.
She tried to. I told you. Yeah.
I don't.
So
Big one.
I remember being in the youth sanctuary, and I came in on the side. And I just sat there and I looked over all the way to the other side and I was like, it's actually Terry. I was like, oh, yeah. That's the chick from the dream right there. He was all like, oh my God, stop pushing, stop pointing at people. That's back when Terry didn't care. So I was like, he not, you know what I'm saying? So I was taking that as, okay, God trying to do something. And I just watched you. And I just watched you, and I watched you. And I was like, okay, God, okay, so that's something you can do. So once that whole, the church, going down in flames with the situation with me, and then I went over to the, to the corner, it was too much familiar faces for me. And I was like, I can't do this. Yeah. But I heard the name Tina. So I assumed Tina was reading. And then I heard her, I'm hearing her singing, I'm hearing her, I said, that's not the sound that I heard. Who am I hearing? So I'm sitting there, and I told Tina this. You can even ask her. She was just all like, it ain't me.
I'm sorry, because I was waiting to hear what she was saying.
Right. Tina was all like, yeah, that ain't me, because God ain't called me to do that. Not yet, that ain't it. So I'm thinking to myself, do I got to sit here and wait for that? And I remember having another dream when God told me that my pastor would be a pastor of the underdogs. And I was like, Tina ain't got the underdog spirit, so it ain't her.
Can we make with the tissue?
We was sitting in corner, and Apostle, was it Bishop's father's name? Him. I think he told you that you was going to be a pastor to the
underdogs.
McIntosh.
Yeah.
I was over there in the corner going through, like, wait, what? Her? What? So I'm like, okay, she ain't got no church. So what am I supposed to do? He just told me to stay where I was at. And so, as the midst of that, I thought I had to get healed there before I got to use it. Because at this point, God, in my mind, he would put you on a pedestal and freak me out. But once I realized you was goofy like me, but you had this aura of this womanness about you that was kind of like, I need whoever she is. I know she's gonna help me become a woman of God and be a woman. So. When I first came, boot camp was tough for me. I was like, she was quiet too much. I ain't used to this, you know what I'm saying? But it was making me still want to come. And when we got to the Y and I was like, oh, right when you said you were singing something and you caught an attitude with Justin, we said we will not do what the old done.
Let that be praised.
Yeah,
I remember it like.
And I was like,
so mad.
I was like, oh, okay.
I was so angry.
I know, he was on there. He was on there. And when you said that, and you was coming, everything that you was doing, I think my healing came from you being obedient to what God told you to do. And it was hard for me. Y'all saw it was hard for me to just stick. It was hard because like it's the same faces that came out of the same hurt that we came out of. And how do I know I can trust her? I couldn't stand women. I couldn't stand women. You know, I was sexually assaulted by one. A bully at that. So I hated, despite. I was like,
Are you healed from that?
I am. That's what I'm saying.
Praise
My
God.
healing came from you. I feel like I don't think that I could have got it anywhere else. Yeah. And I was telling back to my mom, I was like, you don't understand. You come out here, no, sweetie, I can't go to different churches with you. I only got one church.
Went to my church.
That's my church.
Because that's how he is.
So
he doesn't
know.
go. We go now.
I don't even know how to
own.
feel. It don't feel right. I feel like I'm cheating, and I don't like how it makes me feel. But my healing came, and what I loved about it is not only that I was getting healed, but I was watching my sisters to begin to get healed. I watched Bishop. I watched Terry. I watched how you love on Adrian, and I was like, oh, this is it. I was cool. And it took me a second to be cool. It took me a long time just to be like, stop acting like you know, a foster kid. You've been adopted. You have a different last name now.
It's coming.
Yeah, you know, it took me a minute. But I thank God for the God in you for being.
What'd you say? You have a last name now?
I have a last name now.
Yeah. Did you just
So I don't have time to act like
I got a last name now.
My name.
One shot.
Come on, old Abraham. Okay, so I'm changed. My name has been changed. So I feel that, you know, my healing came from that, and that's what the church done for me. You know what I mean? Because even with Bishop didn't know how much he meant to me.
Yeah.
And when you was talking to him on Father's Day, I was over there, Adrian thinking,
oh yeah, she was an entire lip shaking.
I was
You didn't see her mama. I was like, this is not about your man. This is not about your man.
Yeah, Adrian thought I was crying because of my relationship with my dad that I don't have. But that's what I told Bishop. I said, you don't understand. I healed by our relationship with my dad. And that didn't even make it. Adrian's like, man, you ain't there yet. This is where I'm at. You know, so my church healed me. I got a family.
Amen.
That I ain't got to force to be a family.
Amen.
And I got a place where, you know, as you was talking 45 minutes, it just, you know, it's nothing like the station. I'm just saying, it's just not. Real talk, because we all got to get the gas.
So here, real talk. It's a long-winded. We got long-winded spirit. What's the story? So here is the question now. How is it for you honoring the men and women of God now that you know from where you've been, you know where you are now, you know where you were? How is that process like? I mean, what does that mean to you and for you?
To honor the men
and women of God.
To stop trying to make us be equal and just honor who God put in front. Because, I mean, there's a lot of men and women of God that I don't agree to what they do. But who am I to put my mouth on them? Who am I to say that I'm better and they believe? Or, you know, so it's being here with you. You taught us, it ain't got nothing to do with you. Amen. You need a water. Just give a man a water. You know, it's easier for me. But
what I really want to know is what has it done for your life? Because this is where I'm trying to that's why I asked everybody that question. When you honor men and women of God, it blesses your life.
It does.
It does.
It blesses your life because one day they're going to honor you like that. Some people honor you like that now.
Yeah.
But the thing is what you have to do is say, let me turn you back around to
the cross.
Because or to my leader.
Right.
Because that is the problem in the church.
Yes.
You've got it's because he's we're dating him as a minister. Now it's like, well, I got my own little following in the church, Pastor, I think I want to do my own thing. Problem. Because if they're saying, well, I want to, what you call that?
It's a usurper.
And that's what Paul was against.
Yeah.
Hey, come to your church.
Yeah.
I am the chief apostle. That's Bible. That's not me saying that.
Right.
I am the chief apostle.
Right.
We having a revival next week, and I was just like, well, who? Me being who I am, I was like, who is that? You know what I'm saying? I ain't never heard it before. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, who the chief apostle? So when she made the flyer, if the chief apostle's on top, and he was like, come on, y'all ain't saying that because when you honor, when you give. money, when you, and not just money, when you sow seeds like that, and I be open to sow seeds like that to the men and women of God. That's not just because you're, what they doing with the money. No, that you should be able to honor and sow seeds like that into their lives because it blesses you. Yeah. When I sow seeds into my leader's life, it blesses me. For me to pick up the check when we go out to dinner, it blesses me. If I have it or not, it blesses me. And we need to get that concept and not get the she worked just like I work, or we need to not do that, because what happens is one day it's gonna be you,
right?
And then what you gonna do? One day they're gonna honor you, and so, or one day they won't honor you. Right. You reap what you sow. Yeah. Let's talk about the rebuke. How has? Well, I don't know. Let's just talk about the rebuke. Period. What has the rebuke done for you?
Everybody already said it, but you told us that rebuke equals growth and growth was rebuke. And I took that as, that makes sense. If I didn't want to grow, your rebuke would hurt more than what it does. But I get it. Because when you rebuke me via text message, I'd be like, what? And then I sit there and I listen to it. It's like I can hear you talking.
You got rebuked through text message?
Yes. What are you talking about?
I'm not rebuked through email.
I've been rebuked through
text. I've been rebuked through no email.
Over the phone or in person.
Okay, I've been rebuked through a hug.
I've been rebuked through text message.
Why do you think you're through a kiss?
You've been rebuked no, but head dryer.
But most of my rebukes have either been verbally face to face or over the phone.
Yes.
There's been quite a few where they're through text message, but mostly face to face.
Why do you think yours are only face to face or over the phone?
Because you told me you expect more.
Why do you think that yours are like that too?
Because you expect more from me, and you expect me to be and do certain things.
Why do you think you get so many?
Because you keep telling me I need to tell the devil I don't belong to him.
We can't.
Not yet. Next conversation.
Right. Wisdom. That's wisdom. That's God's wisdom. It's the wisdom of the evangelist.
Like I'm taking notes.
But the thing is rebuke. You learn along the way. You learn, because I got rebuked Tuesday, and I was like, we in class.
I'm just enjoying my life.
We just in class, and I get.
And we all can cry, baby.
But I get rebuked more than any other pastor in our thing, because I see greatness in you. Yeah. Because I know what's ahead. Yes. I know what I don't want you to do that I did. I know who you are before you know who you are. Yeah. I know that I can depend on you when I can't depend on no other pastor. I can call you. That's why I get chopped up.
And that's why I get chopped up. But I appreciate it, because as a daughter to you, it's a difference. I can't speak for men, but for me, I be like, okay, I'm a woman like she is. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. It's too much at stake for me to act a fool.
Yes.
So I have no choice. And then on top of that, I don't know, because I watch you like a hawk, and I'm like, okay, so we don't sit like that. We sit like this. Okay. When people are talking and we don't really want to hear what they got to say because they ain't got to sing, we scratching a little to the left. Got it. Got it. You do
I don't
this.
do that.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
So it's just.
See?
You don't want to hear it.
Somebody be like, you be like.
And be looking for confirmation through one of us.
Put my hands together.
Amen. You heard that foolishness, right?
No, I'll be looking at y'all like, are y'all buying this crap?
No. We looking at you like, are we leaving or are we staying?
And you sometimes roll your eyes.
Mm-hmm. Ma'am, have you ever been rebuked by your pastor before?
Not that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll smile. You'll be like,
Mm-hmm. So I want to.
Y'all in the honeymoon phase. That's good.
I want to.
Wait till the dust settles.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. Bishop used to say that about Terry, because Terry used to get rebuked all the time, and he used to be like, "Well, she doesn't rebuke me," but until he started.
No, and that was.
I need Justin to be here. I need Justin to be here at this moment.
That's
No, I think it's you.
No.
Does Justin get rebuked a lot, Bishop?
Justin does.
No, as of now, yes.
Openly, too.
I don't know.
Before, no, he's always been
crying.
rebuked.
Oh, Justin.
He always been
We
rebuked.
love you, Justin.
Anyway, so I know what's up. Shout out to Justin Hanson.
That's in the middle of the song.
Bring
No.
us.
She go like, huh? You know what? Just
Have you seen that? Have you seen that?
I got voices.
She's like, write it down.
No.
Like, oh my god.
No, and that was the thing. I really no. There was no warning. It was like a good. No, we was good for
And
a
then
good
she
year,
smiled at you.
and then all of a sudden, bam! It was rebuke. I was like, oh my god, wait! Like, do I get warned into this? And then Brown just used to be like, I hear you, and then all of a sudden,
He did.
I hear it. I hear you, and then all of a sudden, he's like, oh. Is this how you do it? I said,
Yes.
sometimes it's harder, sometimes it just
You
depends
gotta
on what
have
happens in that
confidence.
moment and what Jesus is
Olivia.
saying.
Don't believe that. Don't believe the hype.
I'm older than
Do not
and
believe
then
that.
how she
But
how
it
she
gets
do
you
like
into
she
shape,
the
though.
shoulder, she be like,
It
like
whips you
it's
into
so
shape.
nonchalant. Take it and go.
No, it's been quite a few times where me and
You'll
Shemai
get
got.
over it.
No, it was quite a few times me and Shemai got rebuked together, and she was like, "Go ahead and play because they're going to need this song to keep singing. That way, while I'm rebuking you, you can sing your way through it."
I believe you lying, bitch. You that ain't never happened. I'm not gonna go through
I
that.
was laughing.
No, thank you.
Because you're in
I was
The
laughing.
Carson Sanctuary.
You know, he get rebuked. Bishop is so kind-hearted. I love him. When we get rebuked, he'll find his way over to us like, it's okay, guys.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
Tambourine, and I'll be like, oh, you'll
I've never seen
Service
it.
is over. We're out of here. I'm like, okay, now let's go.
Have you seen this? I've never seen this.
And then don't get rebuked, and then got to sing praise and worship, and be like,
You're yelling at him. I was like, well, I don't know how else to say. I don't know the lyrics. You want to know the songs, you come to practice. I was like, okay. That's come to practice.
and she don't care, and she still feels the way she
You
feels.
know.
Look.
Not changing, so don't play with me.
And
I want you. I know that if I leave, go out of town, I know I can leave. I know I can do that. I feel I don't feel comfortable with praise and worship yet. Just to be honest with you, but I feel comfortable leaving that because y'all know Justin will take him to sleep, and then he'll take the rest of us to sleep, and we don't want to go to sleep.
We don't want to go to sleep.
If we're here in this setting, we can go to sleep. But if someone new comes in and Bishop is doing praise and worship, they're going to be like, what? Because he does it from relationship.
Yeah.
And everybody doesn't have a relationship. So everybody can't lay down. Everybody can't. I mean, we got some members now who don't have relationship.
That's true.
You know. So when
he's
you're doing
already
it,
going behind the veil,
He
he has to
lives there.
take people to where
but he's behind.
Yeah.
So then when he gets the mic, he's already behind.
Yeah.
So you can't pull us to the gate,
when
to the
you
courts,
already been,
and then
there.
up to the veil, and then behind. That takes a lot of work, and he's not putting in the work. He's just like, yeah, come on and go with it. No, we can't. Yeah. Now when he does praise, I'm there. But when he gets into worship, we us that know the station style is like, okay. But somebody new would be like, what is happening? What is going on?
Right.
So that's him. That's how he does it. I mean, happy. I'm with it. But and that's another. We can't get into that. But I want to, because praise and worship is such a big deal, and that's the birthplace of my ministry. So I know what it's supposed to look like, sound like, feel like, where you're supposed to take us, where you're not supposed to take us. Where you think you should take us and you've never gone. I'm sorry. You can't dare to go where no man has gone before, even yourself. You cannot do that to the people. You have to bring us to the courts. Bring us to the gates.
Right.
You have to get us to Thanksgiving. We come to church already there. Because I had said before, look, we're not here to... if you got to come like that, don't come. Because we don't have time to pull you up. We just don't. We just don't have the time. We just don't. We don't. So... I'm glad we said that, because what I want people to know is that rebuke, it does equal growth, and it equals something that's so powerful in your life that you just will not. I mean, it straightens you up. Mm-hmm. It straightens you up. Because when I got rebuked too, I was like, okay. And then I just started working on what I knew I was supposed to be working on that I hadn't worked on, or an extra task that I'm not supposed to have, but I got it right now. You know, so that's something that happens. And now that brings me to this: the church hurt. We've manipulated the people, rebuking them. You all said rebuke has helped you. You said it shaped you. You said you were mad about it. Wait a minute, what? It's done all that, hurt your feelings. It did all that, but did it make you leave?
No.
No. Because were you rebuked in love?
Yeah.
Were you chastised in love?
Yeah.
But if you're chastised with manipulation, that's not going to do it.
Right.
That's not going to do it. The reason why I don't care is because I know you'll get over it.
You're going to get over
it. You're going to get over it. And if you do not get over it, then you have a problem.
Right.
You do. You have a problem. You still got a putty heart. You still got a little punk in you that need to come on out.
Yeah.
You still got stuff. Come on, and that's what you got. And I need for you to. You gotta. If you're gonna live in this in the world, they like this. So why you can't handle that in the church?
Right.
Let's move on. Let's talk about this border crisis. We got to close it out, but this is going to be a hot one. How do you feel about this border crisis that we're having? Ooh, she doesn't know. The border crisis is how the Hispanics they're being pretty much banned from the country, and they're being ripped out of their homes, ripped out of their... Yeah. Woman of God, you got to watch the news and get yourself up on these current events.
I try to watch the news, but the woman that I live with, you don't watch the news. Because she brings hatred. And it's like,
oh, she's not. She takes it for face value. Gotcha. Let's talk about this border crisis, though, because this is indeed a crisis.
It definitely is a crisis.
It's honestly, it's terrible, because for you to rip somebody out of their home, out of their way of living, and deport them, and not, you're ripping the stability out. You're ripping the structure out. You're tearing that person apart, because they're used to a certain goal. They're used to a certain movement, and you're just stripping them out of there. It's hatred. It's racist. It's what is the word? Profiling.
Yeah.
It's belittling. I mean, because first of all, you already got on there and talked about how people is rapists and murderers and all this other kind of stuff. So you're perpetuating a stereotype. I see it like I see it like how when Reagan was talking about the war on drugs, everybody knew the war on drugs was not about drugs. It was a war on black people. Yeah. It was war on minorities, to make sure that you get rid of them, to lock them up. And this is the same type of situation here. Now we're focusing on another minority that they see that can come together in unity.
Yeah.
And it's overtaking everything, because unity, when you unite, you can move some things. Mm-hmm. We, as the body of Christ, we can learn from how the Hispanics get down. Mm-hmm. Because they'll come in and have 5 families in a 2-bedroom house and grind until everybody can get a house. Mm-hmm. Sending money back home. We don't have that kind of mentality. So if you look at how they move and how they're being attacked, it's a strategic attack against them to make sure that you separate the unity, to make sure that you separate the positive message, because people can look at that and see, you know what, I need to move like that. Yeah. I can learn from this situation right here. They'll take any job. Yeah. They'll stand outside in front of Home Depot all day in the hot sun, waiting to get a job.
And panhandle, as you said earlier.
Waiting to get a job. Where's the saints at? Waiting to get a job. Yeah. Where's the saints at? Waiting to get a job.
Yeah. You were going to say, sir?
No, what I was going to say was, it was like, just when you said the black people, well,
Hispanics.
The Hispanics and the Hispanics, they come together and all those things. I was just going to say, well, the Hispanics didn't have to go through some of the things that us as black people had to go through.
They didn't have to go through any.
They didn't have to deal with.
That's true.
They didn't have to deal with the things that we dealt with and still get dealt with. Like, they did have to deal with horrible things, but
Not horrific things.
Horrific things. But they're not being killed out of cars.
That's true.
They're not being shot at parks.
That's true.
So I'm just saying that I hear what you're saying and I do agree, but and we still compete with each other because we still feel like we gotta compete with each other because you might be better than me. So in order for me to succeed, I'd rather keep you down. Mm-hmm. So that's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. What were you going to say about that?
I mean, I agree with Bishop saying, and I feel like what Terry is saying, that's the same way of saying all lives matter. It takes away that, kind of like overshadow their pain. Mm-hmm. I agree on one thing. You do have to obey the laws of the land. The land told you to get some papers.
Right.
So because you ain't got
that's
papers,
true.
That's why you have to go. I just don't agree. I mean, that's my... I just don't agree with the tearing away from the children.
Right.
That's where my heart is heavy at. Mm-hmm. It's like, because you tell it's a fight just off top. Mm-hmm. And God ain't got nothing to do with the fight when I'm in it. So, but I just feel like if they would just get the papers. And for those who he ain't got yet, go get your papers because he's serious about what he's doing. And I feel like us as a people, we don't have that compassion anymore because, I hear a lot of black people, especially being in the salon, I hear them talk about it and it's always the older blacks that say, well, they ripped us from our babies when our man was in prison. Where the kids was at?
Right.
And I get what you're saying, but did the daddy do the doo-doo? Did he do the do to get in prison? Or was he innocently pulled? Everybody wasn't innocent pulled over. Everybody wasn't.
But see,
so it's kind of hard to say.
I hear what you're saying, but see, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but in a sense, we already came into it with two strikes already against us.
They were immigrants.
But we already had.
America's built off immigrants. Them people that's running the White House is immigrants too. They French and European.
Yes.
No, but we already had two strikes.
They Native American.
I hear what you're saying, but we already had two strikes against us.
We got a lot of strikes.
So it was already a system kind of already against us. So if we did have a ticket or we had a speeding ticket or it was something minor that already 2 strikes would get us. It's a life in prison for something's done. The 3 strikes you're out was the worst thing that ever happened.
Yeah, no, real talk.
So in that sense, that could have been the exact reason why the baby and the man did go to prison. And so it was yanked away. So that's what she might be saying when she's saying it was.
But that particular person was, she.
Well, I don't know that.
I don't know what that one is. But when it comes to the border, I don't disagree. I just don't agree with the snatching of the babies and But like I said, the land said get some papers. So it's
I think they're taking some of them that have papers too. Right? They're not trying.
Are they?
Well, I think that
they doing that.
I'm not concerned if they have papers or not. I don't have a concern. My concern is it's hard to have compassion because we were ripped from our mothers. We were ripped from our land. We were ripped from our mothers. We were ripped from our fathers. If we go back and watch the movie Roots, whether it be fictional or factual, they took Kizzy from Kunta and the mama and took her to another land and ripped Kizzy's man from her. So it's nothing new that they're doing. So it's difficult.
It's modern day slavery.
Difficult for me to have. Well, it's not slavery because they're not getting beaten. They're not. There's no ship that they got on. They didn't send them back by ship. Yeah. They can trace their mother and their father. We can't trace. We couldn't trace where our children were going. As young as the sucklings being ripped out because we want him to be reared up over here so he could be a better slave over here. We were sold. Mm-hmm. So is it an atrocity? Yes, it's absolutely an atrocity. But are we going to compare atrocities and say slavery was worse? Because we can't, because it was. Yeah. So what they have going on now can be fixed. Yeah. What we went through could not be fixed.
Right.
We don't know. We're carrying last names that the slave owners had. I'm carrying an immigrant last name from Germany. Nobody knows. How do we trace it? How do I trace back to my root? They can trace back to El Dorado, Mexico. They can trace back to Mexico City. They can trace back to their descendants.
Yeah.
We can't trace back.
We gotta
So
use
I can't.
ancestry history to try to
I can't. But we can't even use that. We can't even. That. How do we know? How do we know how factual that is? It's got to be straight up from our blood. Come on, we got to just go to the blood for us. You all can go by names and my great grandmother. Oh my God. We can't do that.
Right.
So I don't have the. I don't have the sympathy. The laws of the land have to prevail. The methodology, okay, I've sympathized with the methodology, but the law of the land, the stupidity of Congress and whoever else is behind it, I have a problem with that. All the money that the U.S. government has made from the border, the drugs and stuff, they are in cahoots with all of that.
Right.
So now all of a sudden we're gonna be like, oh my God, what about all the people that's been turned out by drugs? Y'all ain't saying nothing about that. Did nobody get mad about that? Did nobody get mad like when he said they declared a war on drugs? When Reagan was talking to the blacks, then Bush came up talking about his war on drugs and the war on crack cocaine. Who was that affecting? Then nobody said anything until it started affecting Becky now. Yeah. And no disrespect to no shade, I'm not trying to be racist, but nobody said anything until it started affecting Amy and Chance. Yeah, but when it was affecting Wakanda,
Quisha was already affected.
Already affected. Nobody said anything when that same cryptic behavior killed the leaders of the Black Panther. Did nobody say nothing? So now all of a sudden we supposed to be so compassionate for what's happening to the Latinas and the Latinos. We're supposed to be so compassionate. If we move past slavery to today's society, if they do the crime, I'm with you. They should do the time. But some men are over-incarcerated. Many men, the majority of the men behind bars are over-incarcerated. Leave single women like me and you to be like, well, dang, what's the story? Because they're over-incarcerated. Real talk. You got 30, 40 years behind bars. You got 10, 12 years. Then you come get one of us and we just like, wait a minute. We got to reinstate your mind in order for you to love us. We don't have that kind of time.
Right.
So I don't have we got our own plight in our own communities that we need to look at. We've got our own plight in our own churches that we need to look at. To me, if you're going to pray for him, God told you to pray for him, go ahead. But he ain't said that to me. So I got to go with what he say. He ain't said, the border God. No, every now and then he'll say something and I'll be like, okay, man, praise God. My prayers are rooted to Puerto Rico, who don't have power, who people are dying from all kinds of diseases and stuff like that because they haven't had clean water in almost one entire year. So people in the land have developed asthma. They got mold allergies, mold poisoning. Come on. I'm sorry. I don't have the sympathy. Yeah. It happens to us. It's happening now.
Just the next group.
Ripping kids out of our laps left and right. Eric Brown ripped out of his life. Just ripped out. Just ripped from his mom. Come on. So what's the boy name? The hood? Trayvon. Just ripped out. Just ripped out.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I don't have the sympathy. I don't have the sympathy. I don't. Now, do we have some issues in our race that we need to get together? Absolutely. But I don't have the sympathy for it. Ma'am, do you have sympathy for the border crisis, the things that are going on in the border?
I don't have sympathy, but I'd like to say something.
Okay.
And what I'd like to say is we've talked about this type of situation in 7th grade history. And Mr. Eden, shout out to Mr. Eden.
Mr. Eden.
He said that it can also be a problem with superiority. And how...
Just like in the church.
Yeah.
And how not just us Black people, or us African Americans, but Hispanics, any other person that's not Caucasian. So I remember reading a book, and it was an Indian man, and he was talking to another white man. He wrote in the sand. He took a stick and he wrote in the sand. This is how much the Indian man knows. This is how much the white man knows. And this is how much the rest of the world knows. So pretty much he's still saying, we still know more than you, but there's still things out there in the land that we don't know of. So anything that's out there, it can still hurt you. but just be aware of us.
We're lurking in behind.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought the Indians because I'm like, why are they still getting paid? Why are they getting reparation? We were promised 40 acres and a mule.
Yeah.
And
I think like what 12 of us got it, and then they took it back.
Yeah,
I don't.
got it. And some of us, most like not like I think a two.
What was it? A
towns got
$16 check? Was it $16
No,
check?
they actually got their 40 acres and a mule, but then President Jackson took it away.
How long ago was that? Centuries. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So President Jackson
how
took it
long
away.
Jackson was
He tried it. He tried it. Like y'all say, he tried. You tried it, and it didn't work because it was too. I don't know if it was too many. I don't know if they felt like we don't owe them nothing. I think it's going to be B for me.
Yeah.
So why are the Indians still getting money? Is what I want to know. What?
Right.
Come on.
They own law and they own everything.
1619, the first slave was brought over. So next year will mark our 500th anniversary of being over in this country. So when did we know when the Indians here? I'm just trying to put numbers together so we can just figure it out. And you know how many black people don't know that 1619 was and then they don't know that the Moors stopped over in Mexico, and Mexicans don't know that they're really black. I just said something like that. Colombians don't know that they're really black.
Big noses.
That's why they're trifling just like us. That's why in any neighborhood, right across the street from here, they got 18 cars over there, oil marks everywhere, old cars. What your uncle and them got? Old Cadillac. I'm going to fix that up right there. That's Cadillac. I'm going to fix that up. They don't need nothing but a carburetor. They do the same thing that we do.
Motor recovery.
That's all they do. They barbecue carne asada just like we do. They got the loud music line. I drove up, mariachi band was playing. What do we do? Back in the day it was Luther Vandross. Today is some young thug or somebody. I don't know. But what I'm saying is they have the same blood. Y'all don't believe it, but y'all do. So anybody else got any last remarks? Because we got to close this out.
Because the station talk too much. I have nothing to say.
Station likes to talk. Yeah.
Listen,
We appreciate you listening. We do. We did not get to the word versus man, but I think we kind of talked about it in there. Word versus man. We got in there talking about how the word is versus your opinion and the hype fest that you like to have, and it shouldn't be that way. Amen. You need to do better. And so we talked about the church hurt, the church as being a business. We talked about all the things. We talked about the homage to leadership, because that is something that we lack in the body, because people don't believe that, I should be honoring my leader. If I honor my leader, then you should honor your leader. That's just the bottom line. So we talked about all of those things, and I really hope that something was said and that you heard something that really, really encouraged your heart and inspired you to go on. Amen. Because that's what this show is all about. So we thank you for tuning in and listening. And until next time, we are signing off the Filling Station, North Las Vegas, Nevada. We're in Northtown, right? Yeah, Northtown. Whoop, whoop. So we're signing off until next time. God bless you. We love you.